The studio gleamed like a grand stage, white lights beaming down on a crowd eagerly awaiting a spectacle worth watching. Karoline Leavitt, White House press secretary, stood there with a sharp gaze clutching a stack of documents as if ready to unleash. A trump card facing her was Jasmine Crockett, the progressive congresswoman, exuding confidence, hands on hips. A provocative half-smile on her face, the host shouted into the mic, "Welcome to the hottest live showdown you've ever seen, the English words," boomed, heating up the atmosphere as applause mixed with jeers erupted, signaling an unrelenting clash between two opposing political sides. Leavitt, with a calm demeanor, stepped forward, enunciating each word. "Jasmine, I hope you brought more than empty in rhetoric today because I've got the facts right here." Crockett fired back, instantly undeterred. "Little White House girl, don't think waving papers will scare me. I'm ready to crush it." This wasn't a friendly chat. This was a brutal arena where the winner would emerge in glory and the loser would crash, unable to recover before diving into the story. Comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the latest stories. The studio roared like an arena just kicked into gear, the audience roaring after the opening salvo between Karoline Leavitt and Jasmine Crockett. Leavitt stood there, composed like a seasoned chess player, her icy gaze sweeping over her opponent's fingers, lightly flipping through her papers as, if preparing to play her ace. Crockett, in contrast, looked like a fire about to erupt. Face-flushed hands gripping the table's edge, ready to lunge into a counterattack, the host voice trembling with excitement cut in Karoline. "How do you defend Trump's tariff policies against Jasmine's claim that they hurt workers?" The question was like a starting gun, and Leavitt didn't waste a second to open fire. "Jasmine, I know you love talking about justice." Leavitt began, her voice calm but sharp as a freshly honed in blade. "But before you tear anything apart, let me ask. Do you remember when you called Governor Greg Abbott Governor Hot Wheels?" The studio exploded instantly. Crockett's eyes widened, clearly caught off guard that Leavitt would dredge up that old remark. "Right out of the gate." Leavitt tilted her head, a mocking smile flickering. "I've got the clip right here, you standing at the congressional podium, mocking a disabled person. So who are you, fighting for Jasmine the people, or your ego?" The crowd erupted. Again, murmurs spreading like ripples. Crockett leapt from her chair, slamming the table with a bang, her voice booming over the noise. "You dare twist my words. Karoline, I called Greg Abbott. That because he's a hypocrite, not because of his wheelchair." But the audience didn't care for explanations. Boos rang out from the back. "Liar," Leavitt smirked clearly, anticipating this reaction. "Oh, Jasmine, I'm not twisting anything," she replied, her voice soft but lethal. "You made yourself look bad when you thought a nickname was how to defend the vulnerable. Is that your progressive-style?" Laughter erupted from the crowd. Someone shouting, "She's out of moves!" Crockett gritted her teeth, lunging toward the mic, her voice shrill with fury. "Little girl, don't think your cheap tricks can intimidate me. I've been fighting for the people while you were still rehearsing to be Trump's mouthpiece." The crowd grew noisy again, but this time the laughter outweighed the cheers. Leavitt remained unfazed, tapping the table lightly as if counting her opponent's missteps. "Thanks for calling me young Jasmine," she said, her sarcasm sugary sweet, but age doesn't change facts. "You just attacked me instead of answering, so what about the tariffs? Got any data, or just more yelling like that?" Crockett's jaw dropped, eyes blazing, clearly cornered. "Trump's tariffs are killing workers, everyone can see it," she shouted, arms flailing wildly. But Leavitt wouldn't let her off that easy. "Everyone can see it." "Then why can't you show numbers?" Leavitt shot back, her voice cutting like a blade through paper. She held up her document, reading clearly. The Commerce Department recorded a 12% increase in steel jobs in Pennsylvania from tariffs. "What about you, Jasmine? What do you have besides empty words?" The studio erupted again, applause thundering, someone yelling, "Leave it, crushing her!" Crockett panted, hands trembling, voice faltering. "You're full of lies. I don't need numbers to know Trump's ruining the country." The host jumped in. "Jasmine, do you have a rebuttal?" Crockett snarled. "Rebut? What, from a puppet like her?" But the remark only drew louder laughter from the crowd. Leavitt stepped closer to the mic, her voice low but commanding. "Jasmine, if you don't need numbers, don't be surprised when no one needs your arguments." She turned to the audience, tossing a jab. "Maybe she thinks shouting louder wins. Debate's pretty funny, huh?" The studio shook as if hit by a tidal wave applause crashing after Karoline Leavitt's first blow. Jasmine Crockett stood there, face beat red, like she might explode, gripping the table's edge so hard, her knuckles widened, eyes glaring at Leavitt like she wanted to devour. Her whole Leavitt, in contrast, stood still as an ice statue, a mocking smile playing on her lips, fingers tapping her documents as if waiting for her opponent to dig herself deeper. The host's sweat rolling down his forehead cut in Jasmine. "How do you?" Counter Karoline's tariff numbers, but Crockett didn't need a mic to respond. She was ready to charge like a storm. "You think you're clever with those fake numbers?" Karoline Crockett roared, slamming the table with a thud, her voice piercing through. The crowd's noise trumps tariffs are an iron shackle, choking American workers, prices skyrocketing, jobs vanishing, and you know it. But you're just Trump's little puppet, aren't you? A pretty girl reading a script to cover up the dirty truth. The studio erupted some clapping and support, but the boos from the other side were just as loud. Crockett turned to the crowd, arms outstretched as if rallying allies. "See this, folks. This is how they trick us. Throw out a few numbers and act superior." Leavitt stood still, her gaze unwavering, lips curling slightly as if watching a clumsy performance. "Jasmine, you just called me a puppet," she replied, her voice gentle but slicing through. "But who's the one dancing around here? Do you have any data to counter me, or just more howling like that?" Crockett lunged toward the mic, pointing straight at Leavitt, her voice trembling with rage. "You want data? I've got the truth right here. My Texas folks are losing jobs because of that stupid policy. Have you ever left your fancy desk to see them, little girl Leavitt?" Tilted her head, a glint of mockery in her eyes, touching Jasmine. "But if you care so much about Texas, why not mention the time you attacked a reporter at the Capitol? Was that protecting the people's your way too?" The studio exploded again, everyone shouting, some yelling, "That's right!" And while others booed in protest, Crockett's eyes bulged, hands shaking, clearly blindsided by Leavitt pulling that old scandal so fast. "Don't you twist that!" she screamed, voice cracking with anger. "I was defending my rights against a harassing cameraman." "What about you kissing Trump's boots daily to keep your job?" The crowd erupted into chaos laughter, mixing with shouts. The host tried to cut in Jasmine, focused on the issue, but Crockett ignored him, turning on him with a growl. "Don't tell me to focus when this brat plays dirty." Then she spun back to Leavitt, voice quivering. "You're 27. Not old enough to understand people's struggles. I was fighting when you were still in diapers. You think some numbers and a slick tongue can take me down?" Crockett was losing sympathy fast, and Leavitt knew it. She crossed her arms, her sarcasm dripping. "Jasmine, that's the third time you've mentioned my age, but age doesn't give you an argument. All you've got are attacks. The audience is tired of hearing." Crockett slammed the table again so hard. The mic shook her shout, overpowering the noise. "Shut it, you arrogant thing. The truth is, Trump and you are selling out America to billionaires. I don't need papers to see that," someone yelled. "Show proof." Leavitt shrugged, smiling. "Jasmine, if you see it without papers, why not bring it here? Or are you too busy thinking up another way to call me little?" Girl laughter rolled through the crowd, some standing to whistle for live. Crockett panted, face purple with rage, arms flailing like she wanted to smash the air. "You're trash, Karoline," she screamed, voice nearly breaking. "You think you win with these tricks? I'll show you who I am." The audience grew loud again, but this time the chaos tilted toward Leavitt. The host jumped in. "Jasmine, calm down." But she swatted his hand away, pointing at Leavitt. "Don't tell me to calm down when this brat smears me." She stepped closer, fists clenched, voice fading. "You and Trump will pay, I swear it." But her threat only drew more laughter, someone shouting, "Cry about it." Leavitt stood firm, unshaken, her eyes saying, "Keep going, you're hurting yourself." She shook her head slightly, whispering just loud enough for the mic. "What a shame for you." Jasmine Crockett stood there panting, face flushed like she might burst, hands trembling after pounding the table and yelling at Karoline Leavitt, in contrast, remained still as an ice statue. Her cold gaze locked on Crockett, a mocking smile flickering as if awaiting the decisive moment. Leavitt tilted her head, eyes glinting like she'd spotted the perfect prey. "Oh, Jasmine, I'm not done yet," she said, her voice calm but brimming with menace. "And I think you'll wish I'd stop right now before I drop this." Imji held up an iPad, its screen lighting up with something that made the room hold its breath for a split second. Crockett frowned, her voice shaky but defiant. "What trick are you pulling now, you smug little thing? Leave it, answer." She pressed, Play? And a recording blared through the studio speakers, crystal clear Crockett's voice from an old interview echoing, "I don't care who funds me as long as they're against Trump, I'll take it all." The studio went silent for a moment, then detonated like a bomb. The audience roared boos, drowning out applause. "That's fake!" Crockett screamed, lunging toward Leavitt as if to snatch the iPad arms, flailing wildly, but Leavitt stepped back, her voice cutting through, sharply fake. "This is straight from your mouth. Jasmine recorded on MSNBC. Publicly archived, or did you forget when your pockets got full?" The crowd surged, someone shouting, "Show the proof!" Leavitt smiled, flipping a page from her stack. "I've got a list right here, $50,000 from an anti-Trump lobbying group you once called dirty capitalists. So who's the hypocrite here, Jasmine?" The noise swelled, people jumping up, some pointing at Crockett. "Liar, liar, Crockett," froze, mouth agape, eyes blazing like she couldn't believe her ears. You dare!" She roared, voice breaking, arms swinging as if to smash something. That clip was edited. They twisted my words, but no one listened anymore. The boos rose like a tidal wave. Leavitt stepped forward, her voice low, but slicing like a butcher's knife. "Jasmine, you just said you don't need data to know the truth. So why do you need editing to deny yourself now? Or is shouting all you've got when you're exposed?" Mocking laughter erupted from the audience, someone yelling, "She's done for." Crockett lost all control. She slammed the table so hard the mic shook, her shout overpowering the noise. "You're trash, Karoline, an arrogant brat who thinks she can take me down with these dirty tricks." The crowd buzzed, but this time it was just jeers and laughter. The host rushed in. "Jasmine, calm down!" But she ignored him, turning to the audience, pointing frantically. "Don't you see this is Trump's plot? They want to smear me because I dare to fight back." But no one rallied to her anymore. Someone shouted, "You smeared yourself." Laughter thundered, drowning her cries. Leavitt stood there, arms crossed, eyes like she was watching a trapped animal thrash in a net. "Jasmine, you just called me trash," she said, her voice sweet but deadly. "But at least I don't take cash from people I've cursed out on air. You want to protect the people. Then why'd you sell them out to lobbyists?" She turned to the audience, delivering a knockout blow. "What do you think? A justice warrior, or just another two-faced talker?" The studio erupted again, applause crashing, swallowing. Crockett screams. Crockett couldn't take the pressure. She lunged at Leavitt, arm raised as if to slap, but the host jumped in, holding her back. "I'm not here to be humiliated," she shrieked, voice cracking, tears streaming down her cheeks. "You and Trump will pay," but her threat sank under mocking laughter. People stood, some filming the meltdown with their phones. Crockett, yanked free from the host, turned to storm off but paused, screaming one last time, "You haven't won yet, Karoline." And then she bolted off stage, leaving behind murmurs and thunderous applause for Leavitt. Leavitt stood still, eyes tracking Crockett's fading figure. Her faint smile, now a clear victory grin. She turned to the audience, voice calm but commanding. "I didn't come here for emotional games. I came to tell the truth, and she just ran from it." The crowd roared approval, applause stretching on endlessly. The host, still stunned, stammered, "Karoline, what did you just do?" Leavitt shrugged, smiling, "Just exposed." What needed exposing? The audience clapped again, someone shouting, "Finish her off." The backstage door slammed shut behind Jasmine Crockett, her hoarse scream of, "You haven't won yet?" echoing in the studio like a final desperate gasp. Tears streaked her flushed face, arms flailing wildly. That was the last image people saw before. She vanished after the explosive drama. The studio shook as if hit by an earthquake. The audience screaming, non-stop applause mixing with boos and laughter into a chaotic symphony. Karoline Leavitt stood there, unmoving, like a monument of triumph, her cold gaze following Crockett's exit, her faint smile now an unmasked smirk of victory. The host stammered into the mic. "My God, what did we just witness?" He turned to Leavitt, voice shaky. "Karoline, anything to say?" Leavitt stepped closer to the mic, poised. Like a general who just crushed the enemy, her voice resounding just one thing. "The truth always wins, no matter how loud someone yells or how fast they run." The crowd exploded, applause surging, some chanting, "Leavitt, Leavitt!" She turned to them, raising a hand in thanks. Her confident smirk igniting the air even more, but the drama didn't stop there. The cameras cut to backstage where Crockett's voice still blared through the speakers. "I won't let this go, they'll pay everyone in the studio." Heard it clear as day, and mocking laughter rolled like a wave. Someone shouted, "She's toast!" The host, wiping sweat, tried to steady himself, speaking into the mic. Jasmine just left the stage. Not sure she'll be back. Karoline, your take on that reaction? Leavitt shrugged her sarcasm. Sugary, not surprised when you've got nothing left. To say you either run or threaten, but I'm still here, so is the truth. Applause rang out again, the audience standing, some filming live up close with their phones. Leavitt seized the moment, stepping to the stage's edge, voice firm. I came here to defend President Trump's policies, tariffs, border security, things that bring jobs and safety to Americans. Jasmine wants to attack me, but she can't deny this. We work for the people, while she just yells and takes dirty money. The crowd erupted again. Whistles and applause like rolling thunder. Someone shouted, "She's right!" Let it turned eyes sharp. She called me a puppet. But at least I don't sell out my ideals like she did $50,000 from anti-Trump lobbyists. If she wants trashed, that's the truth she's running from. The studio shook applause, stretching on without end. The camera panned to a corner where a man in a red hat yelled, "Karoline just crushed her!" A woman nearby nodded, never seen a collapse. Not bad, she humiliated herself. The host still rattled, "Cut in, Karoline. You just made Jasmine run. How do you feel?" Leavitt tilted her head, voice light but cutting. "I'm not here to make anyone run. I'm here for the truth. If they can't handle it, that's not my fault." The audience roared approval again, some standing and raising fists like cheering a star. Leavitt stood, stepping to the mic. Once more, voice steelily to the American people. Don't let folks like Jasmine fool you with fancy words and tears. We've got data results. She's got nothing but empty threats. The crowd clapped again, the noise so loud it shook the stage floor. A spectator yelled, "Trump rules!" Leavitt just smiled, not responding, but her eyes seemed to quietly affirm the support. The host, still dazed, stammered, "Karoline, I've got to say this is the wildest moment I've ever seen on air." Leavitt shrugged, a hint of sarcasm. Just another day at work. The backstage hallway turned into a mess. A swarm of reporters gathered outside Crockett's green room cameras, and mics poised, banging on the door relentlessly. "Congresswoman Crockett, any." "Response," a journalist shouted through the locked door. The pounding drowned out the sobs inside, but no answer came. Just stifling silence mixed with ragged breaths. Another of Crockett's aides rushed out, face pale, yelling, "She's not talking now, get lost." But the press didn't relent, one sneering, running away like she did on stage. Laughter erupted from the crowd, and the chaotic scene quickly hit live news feeds. On the other side of backstage, Leavitt emerged with her team holding a water cup, a confident smirk on her face, a Trump administration ally. A middle-aged man in a red hat slapped her shoulder. "You just shut down the whole Democratic side. Trump's gonna be proud." Leavitt shrugged, voice soft but sharp. "Just doing my job." She made herself a joke. A reporter shoved in. Mic close, Karoline got more evidence. Leavitt smirked. "Today was enough to make it clear, but if she wants a rematch, I'm always ready." Applause broke out from nearby supporters, and the line instantly got picked up by conservative outlets, spreading like wildfire outside the studio. The drama exploded on TV. A Fox News breaking alert cut into programming, the anchor shouting, "Karoline Leavitt just demolished Jasmine Crockett. Live." She ran off in tears. Footage of Crockett bolting off stage replayed on loop, with snarky commentary. This is what happens when you've got no truth to stand on MSNBC. A panel of progressive pundits tried to defend that audio could have been distorted. We need to investigate, but their voices were feeble, and online viewers pounced, distorted. She said it herself. CNN ran a short segment headline. Brutal. Crockett crumbles to Leavitt. Unforgettable live drama reactions from peers were just as fierce. A Republican senator outside the studio on a phone interview said, "Karoline's a star. She just showed the nation Democrats only yell without substance." Meanwhile, a Crockett ally from the Congressional Progressive Caucus, voice shaky on CNN. "This is Trump's dirty trick. We won't let it slide." But the threat just drew laughs, a commentator shouting, "Won't let it slide." And she couldn't even stand up. TV aired backstage footage of Crockett crying, fueling the chaos further. The public outside the studio joined in. A group gathered in front of the broadcast building holding Leavitt wins signs and chanting, "Truth prevails." Some Crockett supporters tried to counter. She was set up, but their voices were quickly drowned by the larger crowd. News vans packed the lot, camera flashes popping non-stop, and clips from the clash replayed on every screen. A passerby phone in hand laughed, "Just watched her run off. Funnier than a comedy flick." Leavitt didn't miss her golden chance posting a tour tweet. Truth doesn't need to shout. It speaks for itself. Thanks for watching it racked up tens of thousands of likes in minutes. With #Leviv exposes rocketing to the top neck and neck. With #Crockett, meltdown conservative netizens dove in like sharks. One big account roaring Karoline just KO'd the Dems. Trump's got a top-tier spokesperson. Now another posted a clip of Leavitt smiling on stage captioned, "This is how you destroy an opponent without raising your voice." Learn it, Jasmine. The memes of Leavitt as a superhero, wielding her iPad like an ultimate weapon, flooded X, pushing the drama to new heights. Crockett, on the other hand, became the target of relentless mockery. One user posted a clip of her slamming the table captioned, "When you lose a debate but think yelling louder wins." It got shared thousands of times with comments like, "She turned herself into a clown," or "Crying on air career over." Another account photoshopped Crockett running off stage with the caption, "When you know you've got no proof, but still try." A flood of memes and jeering comments drowned out any attempts at defense from the progressive side. One Crockett supporter weakly wrote, "That audio was edited, don't judge too fast." But they were instantly hit back edited and took $50,000 cry harder. Riding the wave of public frenzy, Karoline appeared at a brief press conference, right after the show standing before a forest of mics. She smiled. "I didn't come here for personal games. I came to defend President Trump's policies and expose hypocrisy." Jasmine chose her reaction, and everyone saw the result when a reporter asked, "Did you target Crockett from the start?" Leavitt smirked. "I targeted the truth if she got in the way. That's not my fault." The line instantly became a viral quote, spread across conservative channels with the tag, "Leavitt Queen of Truth Crockett." In desperation popped up on a live stream from her office, eyes still red. "They want to humiliate me, but I won't fall," she said, voice trembling, that audio was distorted. "I fight for the people, not money," but the livestream audience didn't forgive comments flooding distorted, but took lobbyist cash or cry more. No excuses. The stream ended in chaos as Crockett cut it off, unable to handle the pressure that move only fueled the fire, with one user tweeting, "She ran twice, once from the stage, now from livestream." The storm of drama between Karoline Leavitt and Jasmine Crockett finally died down, but its echoes still shook everything from the studio to social media, news outlets, and American streets. Leavitt emerged from the battle like an invincible general, her image standing on stage, calmly dropping the audio and smiling at Crockett's collapse now etched into millions of minds. Crockett, in contrast, left a pitiful mark. Tears, screams, and a humiliated dash off stage turned her into a national laughingstock. The studio's quiet, now the audience gone, but this wasn't just a fight. It was an explosion that shaped both their careers, and you just watched it all from start to finish. The story. Jasmine Crockett goes bananas after Karoline Leavitt exposes her. On live TV, starkly reflects America's political polarization and the power of media in modern U.S. life, where debates aren't just exchanges of ideas, but public arenas deciding personal credibility. Karoline Leavitt, with her calm demeanor and lethal audio strike, "I'll take money, as long as it's against Trump," showed a growing U.S. trend. The public demands transparency and hard evidence, like how she used tariff data to overpower Crockett. Conversely, Jasmine Crockett's going bananas, yelling, crying, and bolting off stage mirrors. The downside of emotional overreach: lose control, and you become a joke. Especially when platforms like X amplify the flop with #Crockett meltdown. The dramas spread from backstage to TV and street shows. Today's lightning-fast public opinion. One collapse like Crockett's can torch a whole career. The takeaway here is practical for Americans in work and social life. Learn from Leavitt, prepare thoroughly, stay cool, and lean on facts like how she used data and audio to win without shouting a must in America's high-stakes settings. Avoid overreacting, like Crockett screaming, "You're trash," or running off just tanks your cred with colleagues or the community, especially when everything can be recorded and spread ultimately in the social media age. Controlling your image is survival. Leavitt became an icon because she played it smart, while Crockett self-destructed under pressure. Stay ready and sharp, because in America, truth and self-control define who you are. Thanks for watching the epic drama. As Leavitt took down Crockett, hit subscribe now. So you don't miss the next scorching political battles. We'll be back with more shocks. See you soon.